Hey, everybody. Welcome back to hour two of the Quantum Show Life, Death, and All That Jazz. I'm going to be passing out links again as the to watch link. And anyone who needs it can link to the show again, I think. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. Okay. It shows me live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And okay, hit like and subscribe if you like what you see. If you don't like what you see, tell me why. Let me know why. I'm doing it now. This is the YouTube thing. Shameless self promotion. Oh, wait. Don't do it that way. Do it this way. Okay. I will fix the Facebook link later. Not too many people come over from Facebook. They'll come over from direct linking. Public. Okay. And Twitter. Hour to Twitter. Um, but yes. Okay. Last hour with my. I am not torn up about it. I'll explain the practical world reasons why, as well as other things. And the other things are not practical real world reasons. They are different. I have a message on Twitter. Just want to glance at it. I probably won't reply to it. No, not yet. Dorothy Hawkins was on Twitter. She sent me a message. Oh, wow. A while ago. Sorry, Dorothy. Hopefully you hear. 6 hours ago from here. And it was a link. Yeah. I was not able to go to the GUFON show today. Rich, I'm sorry. I was not able to go because of things to do with my dad's passing. All right. Link is out. I'm going to share the join link. I'm watching who comes in, so no spammers coming in. So the people, Shadow will be coming in a little while. And am I live? Yeah. Okay. Shadow will be coming in a little while. Joe will be coming in. Maybe our Keith Andrews, Lynn, and Frank. Lynn and Frank, I think they want to. I want Lynn to come back. We were talking behind the scenes while I was editing. But I want to go through. Hey, okay. I just posted it. It's in the chat now. Oh, that's the to join. Yeah. Frank, I just put the link in the chat. Let's see here. Yeah. It is right above your comment on both YouTube and StreamYard. So doors open. And just in case you didn't get it there we go. I just put it in there again. Right below your comment. And alrighty then.
Somehow or another, I got a space in there. Oh,
Okay, Frank, you're on.
Yes, sir. And
In-
Lynn's trying to get there, so hang on just a moment.
Okay.
Okay. NT99DH P2TA.
That sounds important. I'm going to mute you for now. Okay. So put a little, ping me in the chat room so I'll know you're okay. But I wanted to go over this. I will see people come in. Here comes Lynn.
And that's what we were doing, was giving the address to her so she could get in.
Oh, okay. Oh, you were manually entering it?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, she doesn't have Facebook and the YouTube link. I got the YouTube link and just pulled it up and read it off to her.
Oh, okay. That was a long read. Okay. Um.
Yeah, just a
Well,
little.
I type
anyway,
125 words a minute. I can
yeah, but
handle it.
Frank doesn't read that fast.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, okay.
I had to repeat it a
Well,
couple of times.
Thanks a lot,
well,
Frank. I appreciate the love and support.
Always, dear, always.
You'll do
it,
anything for me, won't you?
But I
Just
won't do
remember,
that.
I will do anything for you too. Anything at all.
that sounds ominous.
It should.
I would do anything at all, but I won't do that.
He got me.
Well, thanks for coming back in. Welcome back to the Quantum Show.
No problem.
I was just talking about some strange things that happened up until and past when my dad passed away 2 weeks ago, and beyond. Right. All right. Like I said, I'm gonna lay it all out there. 2 weeks before, or a month before, 3 weeks before, I don't remember. I remember it's in my Google Maps. Right. I went to New Market, Tennessee. They have a mineral well there. And here's the story. The story was a guy in 18 late 1800s. Not too much medical science had been happening, right? So
Mhm.
he had a kidney stone or blocked kidneys or something, right? The doctors basically gave him a death sentence. And
Yeah.
his words were, a voice came into his head and told him to go to a certain place on his property, drill a certain depth, and you will get water there that will heal you. So, as he was taking whatever pain meds they gave him, he had people come out. His name was Houston, right? Something Houston, Mr. It's Houston Mineral Wells in New Market, Tennessee. It's very
Okay.
East Tennessee. All the weirdest stuff happens in East Tennessee. That's more mystical than anything. But
Well, the Appalachians are.
oh yeah, and he did, right? His crew found water twice before he got to that depth, but he said keep going. And they said that, or he reported that the water was different. It's some sort of mineral water. He drank it and got better and
Hmm.
lived. And here's how he died. He was pulling up a stump and he hit himself in the head with a shovel
Oops.
or a pick. That's what killed him, not the kidney infection, which was untreatable, apparently untreatable back then. But it was that. That's what killed him. And he was pulling up a stump somewhere and hit himself in the head with his tool. Hey, Edgar, welcome to the Quantum Show. Yeah, he says, I call this life chile con queso and all that hip hop. Okay. Well, I took a trip to that place. I heard about it on TikTok. By the way, TikTok, I'm deleted off TikTok. I heard about it from this other guy who covers local stuff in Tennessee, and I went out there. Let me tell you, this place had a feel to it. like a temple or a church. I did a show on it, the water temple, and that's what it was. I took some pictures, I put them on Instagram, and I haven't figured out how to use this yet. All this StreamYard stuff to show other things without having a prefab um, slideshow handy. So I got an expandable, mailable water container, one that stretches, um, and sent my dad 2 gallons of this water. Presumably he drank it. I don't know. He was in Alaska, so I knew it wasn't going to heal him. He had cancer, and he had a lot of cancer. It was dotted all over. There's a word for that, but it wasn't
Metastasized.
metastasized. Is the word for it, but it didn't. It wasn't typical. It was all over, but it didn't spread. It came like boom, all of it at once. It
Mm.
grew. I don't know. Right? Got a theory. Oh, that's the before part. Um, but I knew it wasn't going to heal him, but I figured from a Reiki standpoint, it would help ease the passing process, make it easier on him to go. And I don't know if it did or didn't, but when you see me look away, I'm hearing someone. Um, anyway, but I'm pretty confident that it did if he drank it. Okay.
Well, you know, our mutual friend, Keith Andrews,
Yes.
I had a session with him several years ago because my lungs are not in good shape. And I've never smoked, I've never done any of those things, inhaled stuff, just nothing. And, but here I am, I have a lung disorder all the same. And I had a session with him, and he looked at me and he goes, "This does not require your belief, it requires mine." Okay. And which is totally back assward from everything you'll hear around.
Right.
But you know what? That took a lot of the pressure off of me to somehow conjure up belief. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just took him at his word. This would help. And it has a terrific amount. But it was a simple hands on healing. Nothing grandiose about it. And I cannot say that I felt it. I cannot say any of those things. But I know that it worked because I'm still here. And at that time, I was on the tail end of a terminal illness,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not anymore. I'm holding my own, and I'm staying with it pretty good. So your belief was probably all that was necessary to that exercise.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
even his having it helped,
Yeah.
whether he drank it or not. It helped.
Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
Joe's back. Joe's muted. So that's what I did. And I knew before then that he was passing. He had called us all a year before when his neighbor found him. I'm not going to go into the whole details about what happened, but he thought he was going to die a year before. So he called us kids and shocked us all with I wanted to say goodbye, I'm dying. And didn't want to talk about anything because he almost hung up on me. That's okay. It's okay. He had his mind on other things. But that's when
He
he
just
was
wasn't prepared at that time to discuss any of it.
right.
Hmm.
Um so that was almost a year ago. So I have had all this time to prepare for his passing from here, okay? And I can just imagine the muggles going, well, where else would he pass from?
Okay.
I'm getting to that. I'm
Yeah.
getting to it. Um, so he did, right?
Hmm.
And the day before, I felt like a heel doing this, but my sister had talked to him a little while before that. He couldn't talk. He
Hmm.
was intubated, so he couldn't talk. He was trying, but it just wasn't happening.
Right.
So I felt like a total jerk because I sent him a text. And yeah, all the memes say that's not the kind of thing you send a text for. He couldn't talk. I couldn't. He it, phone was impractical. He could read. That
Yes.
was, I mean, phone was totally impractical on both ends. So I sent him a text. And I still kind of feel bad about doing that, but what choice did I have? And he passed the next day. So, um, and it took me this long up to now to process all of this
Hmm.
and come to a point where I wanted to tell people and talk about it because when I got to own this, right?
Yeah.
I got to own it. There's no feeling bad. There's no, I mean, if I feel bad about it, it doesn't matter. It's still the way it is. And I'm going to have to just deal with it and own it and not let things overcome me.
I'm
So,
going to say this, and I want you to understand I'm not trying to make you feel better, okay? I was a caregiver for many years. I've seen people go. And I had a lovely lady who was deaf and also, uh, of course, could not speak either. And some of her family members could not be with her at her passing. They sent text. She held that to her, close to her. She could that that communication was everything. You communicated. He wasn't able to speak to you, and I'm sure that he felt uh, very insecure about that and inadequate. And yet, he could see that communication from you and hold it in his heart. He saw the communication, and I'm sure that he heard it in your voice. Okay?
yeah.
You have got we have as a group of people, we tend to think of our senses as very specific. Oh, I can see, I can hear, I can speak until you can't. I had an eye injury and a couple of detached retinas in this last year, and I went from being able to do artwork and all sorts of things to not being able to see. Did that diminish me in any way? No, of course not. I'm still who I am. I'm every bit as big and hollow and spar as I was before I lost that sight. But I've held that uh, instead of fighting it, I've embraced it. Now my sight is coming better.
Hmm.
So here we are. You know, it does not um, it does not get less, it gets more because we are and have to amp up our soul response to the circumstances and overcome the body's reaction. He did that. He saw your communication.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, I feel positive, and I don't say that often, that he held that to his heart, to his soul, and said, hey, my son spoke to me in this way. Whether he could respond to you or not.
Yeah. Okay. On that, I sent him the text. He passed the next day. My sister called me and told me what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone was already prepared for it. Okay. We were already all mentally prepared for this. So, and I had even sent a text, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and as soon as I get off the phone with her, I immediately went to the one guy that I know will work with me on that stuff. I go, Xena, yeah, this is actually kind of funny, right? I go,
Mm-hmm.
Xena, would you go and check on him, talk to his guides or something? And she goes, he's fine. And I'm like, what do you mean he's fine? What is he doing? What's going on with it? And she goes, he's fine. Yeah, she does that. She is the you don't mess with her.
She's
She's a
very
taskmaster
forthright. Mm-hmm.
and very. My mental image of her, and this is not without her doing it, right? Is 6 foot tall and muscle bound. That's
An
that's Xena.
Amazon. All
Yeah,
right.
that's Xena. That's the way she's always the mental image I get from her and all her way she talks to me. That's what I get from it.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a very take charge lady. Um, so I I trust her, like almost like implicitly. I trust her. And so I said, okay, he's fine. I will wait for updates if any. And then the updates came. Um, and little things have been happening. I kind of
Uh-huh.
got to yeah, I kind of got to feeling bad about stuff, and um, so I drew back from the mystical side of everything, and I started doing more toy stuff. You saw, I don't know if anybody saw, I did a
Oh yeah.
product review on the Quantum Show. Muggles, take heed, right?
I saw some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did some the toy stuff, and and robotics on Pinterest because it's a rabbit hole, right? All of it. I mean, you say I like robotics on Pinterest, boom, you get every robot ever known from drawings and sketches to products, toys, Terminator, all of it. And I was skipping through there, and today I went to my sister's place because we were handling. She said, "Come on out and help me go through his stuff that was sent from the hospital." I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, I'll be there. Do you want to come out?" I was like, "Yeah, tomorrow afternoon." Okay, cool. See you later. And I go out there, and I had to do chores today, and I was compelled. I'm in a shock, kind of still a surprise frame of mind this whole time, right? And it just kind of shocked me out of what I normally think of. And I took a different route in the grocery store, and then something told me you need to check your regular route. And I went, and there were clearance D batteries, and I was like, something is telling me to buy these D batteries. I don't know why, but they're cheap. They're on clearance. They're brand new, damage package. And I was like, fine, let's get them. D batteries. And at another store. I had one of the dollar stores. I saw file folders. Um, sure, why not? Let's get some file folders. The force says so. I get out there.
We operate like that quite often.
I get out there. There is a Grundig radio that takes, guess what? D batteries. And it's a nice radio. And the batteries in it were good, but now I've got more. Who buys D batteries anymore? Who puts some D batteries in anything? My dad
Actually,
did.
we do.
Okay.
But
But
like you say, it's so few and far between now that
yeah.
the picking them up like that. Don't you think there was sort of a little nudge there from
Yeah.
somebody, maybe?
There totally was. I didn't figure that out until later. And she go and we look at this stuff and we figure out what goes where. Who gets what, who wants what, because he don't care, right?
Well,
About the stuff left
at
here.
this point, probably not. He'd probably already, since he had some inclination that he wasn't going to be around very long, he probably gave up some things early on.
Yeah. But this is the stuff that he had that was in the hospital with him and in his car that the hospital didn't said, here, you take it, family member, and send it to my sister. And she goes, okay, brings up a big bag. Now we go through the mail. And I'm like,
Oh boy.
file folders.
Yeah.
That's why. I didn't know I was going to need them, but there it is. And I made a file system for all the different things that I've got here at home too. You know, car, insurance, job, blah, 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 bank, whatever.
Yeah.
And neatly filed, though I didn't have a stapler. That's okay. Dealing. So
You mean the red slimline stapler?
didn't have one.
Somehow or
But
another, ours has disappeared, and we have not come across it even yet.
yeah, I had a
I must
box.
have pixies or something.
Yeah, I had a box of all my office supplies because I had a home office in my other place, and it vanished. It's gone. I don't know where it was. I was watching for it the whole time, and I was like, where could it be? It's just gone. So
Well, it
that
found that black hole and made its way into it, and there's we have been in every single drawer, under things, on top of things. That darn thing has nowhere to be found.
yep,
You know,
same.
but like you say, we pick up. Uh, we'll look at different things, and our eyes will fall on that one thing and say, "I need that. I don't know why
Yeah,
I need it, but it's coming."
yeah,
And sure enough, within the week, there's a use for it and a need for it.
yep. And this happened today.
So print
I
yourself
got.
some paperclip.
Do what?
I will do that.
I didn't catch it. Paper clips, did you say?
He said, print yourself some paper clips.
I sell some paperclips. The files on Thingiverse.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll make them look like alligators. They got those. um, but yeah, all that stuff happened today. Okay. Well,
So your
nobody else.
psychic is up high.
It's way up high because me and my sister were like, we were starting each other's sentences, and I was like,
Mhm.
oh wow. I
Yeah.
was like,
So
yeah, you know what? Yeah, we're both on the same frequency, big time right now. Not
mhm.
finishing each other's sentences, starting it.
Yeah, that
That
happens.
happens.
Yeah, it does. I mean, if you're connected to somebody in any way, really, I hadn't spoken to my sister in several years, and not because of a falling out or anything like that. We just simply hadn't. We picked up right where we left off,
Yeah.
and we're finishing each other's hi Bella, and finishing each other's sentences and starting them. And oh, by the ways, and this is going on. She says, that's happening here too,
Yeah.
But yeah, it does happen that way. I have noticed in my life that profound grief activates my psychic in a very big way. And I'm not talking about your garden variety. Oh, I'm sorry that happened to thus and so. I'm talking about profound grief, grief of loss.
Right.
And when that's going on, everything's in high gear. Then this has happened to you apparently.
It
Where
could be
you're,
that. It could
yeah.
be that because, I mean, I got my shock almost a year ago,
Mhm.
and I've been working with that. The shock part has been diminishing, and I've been preparing ever since, and went back to deal with it on my own way. And I say it when people say so and so or somebody to them has passed away. I say you'll see them on the next levels.
Mhm.
There, and I mean it. People think it's a. I don't know if they think I'm trying to be cute or original. That's not the time to do that. So I don't
That's
do that. I
right.
really believe it. I don't want to,
Yeah.
make a joke out of someone's feeling bad. That's not. That's not for
Well,
me to do.
when uh when we end up in a situation of grief, and we have a tendency to think that just because we've had an opportunity to prepare for it will lessen the blow. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It makes the more superficial expression of it less,
Right.
but it doesn't approach. It doesn't soften your gut reaction, your heart reaction. I knew my father was very, very sick. My father and I had a terrible relationship. Terrible. And
Okay.
I won't get into that. But I didn't think I'd have any feelings about it at all. And and basically suppressed it. Didn't
Right.
think about it, nothing. But when it happened, the day it happened, and I was in the kitchen. I was packing up to move to El Paso, and I was in the kitchen, and it was a very mild and calm day. There was no wind, but a wind came through my house and hit the front door so hard that it literally slammed the door shut. And I said, "Bye, Dad." He had
Mm,
passed at that moment, and I knew it. And I'm sure that was his way of saying, "Well, yeah, don't have me to kick around anymore," some other foolishness. But
mm-hmm.
it. Uh, I'm, of course, I'm a medium, and have been since I was a little kid. But I knew at that moment that he had passed, and I called my sister and I said, and she called me up, or well, I called her and she spoke to me, and she goes, "How did you know?" And I said, "You're kidding." Of
Yeah.
course I knew. And she goes, "Yeah, he's gone 5 minutes ago." And I said, yeah. I said, was it fairly decent passing? She was just very quiet. I said, well, it wasn't quiet here. You know,
Yeah.
but he had fallings out with some of my other sisters. I have four, and they experienced a similar situation where the door had slammed.
Hmm.
He was going to have that last word no matter what. You know? But you know, I let that go. I didn't feel anything at the time. I wasn't upset. I felt nothing. I really didn't start dealing with his passing until the last 2 years. He's been gone for 12.
Oh.
Yeah, that kind of estrangement. Okay,
Ah.
uh, it's unfortunate that it happened. It was. It didn't need to happen, but it did.
Right.
And you know, I realized that I have a real propensity. Was once I'm pissed off, I'm really pissed off. You know, but it takes a while for me to get there. But once I've arrived, it takes an awful lot to get me out of it too. But when you are able to say, okay, I've taken 2 weeks and I'm starting to process, I envy you. You're able to
Well,
process it.
I had a year to prepare, and something else that has helped me process. I think the guides did a good job because I'm pretty sure he's come to me a couple few times. Um, not like strong like the guides do,
Mhm.
like Xena and Sabrina, not like they do, but using the same method.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, they've been through an awful lot, the deceased, you know. I
yeah,
mean, after all they've died, that's very energetically depleting,
yeah,
and
and
they're not
uh,
going to come out in a very strong way.
right. I think he's been helped by whatever team he has there, and
Mhm.
maybe Xena was supervising. I don't know.
Well,
I'm
it's
not
very
over there.
possible.
Yeah, I'm still here. She is the supervisor. I mean, she is a supervisor. Um,
Well, there's when someone leaves this earth, and they pass over, and I've been there, so I kind of know about it. I have died in my life and come back. It took me a little bit to get back, but I got back, and I I had a surgery to have a child, and I died during the surgery.
mm,
And the whole bit, I mean, oh, look at that. Why am I looking at myself? You know, and clear to the other side and back.
right.
And we don't go there alone. We are met by family, friends,
Yeah.
uh, guides.
So I'm
We
thinking
are
he
not
had
unsupervised.
right. I shudder to think what would happen if I found myself floating anywhere I could go without someone saying, you need to stay right here,
Yeah.
or something like that.
Well,
But
you
yeah,
actually can, from what I've spoken with others, they've been able to do some soul travel,
right.
at that moment, and see their loved ones at that moment. And then again, they've had, especially the first year or so after their passing, they're allowed to say goodbye. They're allowed to see people for that last time.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of that, I've had a few friends pass away, and I didn't know anything about it, but I found out the approximate day and time or day and year they passed away. And I remember, what was I try to do this to everything, right? What was I doing at that moment? And
Mm-hmm.
I try to remember back. And I always remember the psychological term, the flashbulb moments of something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think we all do. But I remember I was cleaning the bar, and I didn't hear it. I felt, and I brought up the image of their faces, kind of it was like a good, loving feeling for a
Mm-hmm.
split second. And they were looking at me, and that's all I remember. And I was like, and at the moment, it was, huh, why did I think of them? And all the, like, and then I start thinking of whatever time we spent together,
Yeah.
good and bad. And then I focus on the good, because
Yeah.
I'm like, well, why focus on the bad? And
My.
turns out those people, that was when they passed. They
Mm-hmm.
were saying goodbye, and I think I was able to perceive it when they dropped in
Well,
on me.
when you're terrifically connected to someone, whether that's a spouse or a dear friend or a parent, you kind of know. You have that feeling in deep inside of you that's, oh my God, they're gone. You know, um, my very dearest friend passed away about 13 years ago. No, it hasn't been that long. It's been closer to 11. And I did not know that she had left the area. I did not know that she went to the hospital for
Hmm.
treatment. I knew nothing. And I kept seeing her face and her saying, I love you, darling, you know? And that was always our sign off, Legion. I love you, darling.
Hmm.
And I kept hearing that. It's like, and then I tried to call her and email her, and of course there was nothing. And then we found out that she had passed, and I went over of a heart attack, had a heart attack right on the spot. And doctor told me it was broken heart syndrome. I had literally broken a string in my heart. And he said, "What hit you that hard?" I said, "My best friend passed." And of course, not quite so glibly as now, but
Mm.
it's not glib even now, believe me. But it's not something that you can get over. It's not something you can put away. It's something that you go through, and you get to go through it the whole way. And believe it or not, when you're all finished with it, if you ever are, you're a better person for it.
No, I believe you. I've gone through similar. I guess I'm going through it now. I think it's kind of, I got a bonus that I think he's still talking to me.
I don't think you're thinking so. I think he probably is.
I think he is too, because I thought I was going crazy when Xena showed up, and then Sabrina,
Oh
and
no, you're not crazy at all. Believe me, my
no.
dad's tried to argue with me for the last 13 years. And sometimes then I'll just sit down and I said, you are on the other side and I'm not having this conversation with you. You know, and that sounds absolutely okay. How psychotic are you? You know, and I'm not psychotic at all. I hear him. You know, it's
Yeah.
taken me quite a while to get uh, things quieted down from him because he was he took totalitarianism to a new high.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I
He
get you.
wanted to oversee every second of a person's life, and
Hmm.
it annoyed him when he couldn't do that. Now I won't live like that. I'm a free spirit,
Right.
which I'm sure drove him completely nuts the whole long way. So, you know, take two extremes of personality, and there's where you got us.
Yeah. 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 So that's where I am with all of this. And I'm not going to say I'm okay with it. I'm not, but I'm still here. And it feels like he's riding in the interstate next to me, like another if this is an interstate, life is a highway, all that jazz. And he's on a parallel road watching me, and he's got like a much better car now. I don't know.
I think that's a very good analogy for it.
Yeah, he's just
Although they do go to a place where what's going on in the interstate next to them is less and less important,
right, right.
and as they go along. And I don't know how you feel about reincarnation, but I believe personally that that's very definitely an option. And I say option, maybe you have an ability to say yes, I want to go back, or say heck no. Hi, Joe. Yeah.
Someone joined the chat. Someone joined the chat.
Okay.
Bo Paints Minis. I was just about to type a hello in there. Hello, Bo Paints Minis. I didn't want to interrupt you,
No, please do.
but welcome to the Quantum Show, Bo Paints Minis. I'm going with your name is Bo. Welcome to the Quantum Show. Uh, Kind of a deep topic today. The semi-funny life, death, and all that jazz. Yeah, my dad passed away 2 weeks ago, and I'm talking about it publicly now. I haven't in 2 weeks, so that's what we're talking about. And it's not about the typical grieving process that most people have, because he's still talking to me. I apparently am psychic or something, and this is different. They don't make. I don't know of too many TV shows I can compare this stuff to, right? To relate it to non-mystical people. And
Uh, I
yeah,
think to really get in depth with stuff. I mean, there's a lot of schools of thought about what the death process is, and of course, we don't know specifically from our experience in this lifetime. We don't know what that's going to look like, and it's very frightening to some people.
yeah,
And the whole death process has become so homogenized in this world.
yeah,
You're not involved in preparing the deceased body anymore. You're not involved in sometimes in their passing. Sometimes the length of time between places will prevent that. And our 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 grieving in the modern day time has become dissociated, disconnected.
right.
And when someone is connected and very connected both to um, their people that they love and people that they're involved with, and they're also connected into their deity and into their relationship with the earth, you know, and they're connected, they have a whole different experience of
Hmm.
death than someone who does not. And I'm not saying people don't love their spouses or don't love their friends. I mean, their ability to connect to them has even been impeded by this whole homogenization of
Right.
our processes, both the life
Right.
process, coming into the world, and the leaving of it. I
Yeah.
think that's
It's all been compartmentalized.
as
And
though we're separate from that thing.
yeah, and that is part of the experience. That is part of the experience. My grandmother passed away years and years ago, and we didn't have anything to do with it. I mean,
Hmm.
after she passed away, I heard she passed away. Next thing little kid me, right? Next thing I know, it was a burial memorial that we did
Yeah,
by ourselves. That was it. That was all
yeah.
of it.
And
And
there's a whole slew of steps in there that you missed.
yeah,
And that if,
and
as a child, if we would have been able to participate in that thing, we would have had a whole different perspective of it.
yeah,
It's not the
and
mysterious, horrible thing that it has come to be.
yeah, and that it kind of jives with my idea that we are cash cows and we are the animals on the reserve. Not that the off-worlders have anything to do with us living and dying on a regular basis. It's
Uh-huh.
more like we're the cattle and okay, Timber, who is and son of Shadow and Son, is coming in.
Okay. Hi, Timber.
Hello.
Welcome back to the Quantum Show. Thanks for stopping in. And
Yeah.
yeah, how you doing today?
Good. Good.
Good deal.
Doing much better than I was earlier. That's for sure. Shadow is still talking to Omen and Connell on
Okay,
the Shadow chat. It ended, but they're still talking after the fact.
gotcha. Backstage,
Yeah.
understood. Okay, they'll Shadow will get here when he gets here. I'm keeping one more slot for him, and
Okay.
one may free up. I don't know. We got 2-on-1 over here, so okay. You walked in on it. The title of the show is really it's hard, right? My dad passed away 2 weeks ago, and I've been dealing with it, and it's not over yet on like a material level or a psychic quantum level because he's still talking to me. Yeah, all the way down the rabbit hole, all the way down this rabbit hole. So, Timber, you're with me all if you hang on, all the way down the rabbit hole. Yeah, this is the really weird stuff. When it comes down to brass tacks like this, life and death, here we are. And here I am anyway. And well, y'all all showed up. So you're all here too.
Yeah. And well, Shadow's showing up in a couple seconds, probably. Oh, there he is.
Yep. Whenever he shows up. Oh, he's physically there. Okay.
Howdy, Shadow.
Okay, he's gonna be electronically here in a very soon. That's fine. But yeah. And I've been going through with Lynn talking about this, and everybody's been very quiet and letting us jabberjaw to each other, which is fine because all of it helps. Shadow is in the chat. Hey, Shadow, welcome back to the Quantum Show. Let me open the door back up for you. I think that's it. Yeah. Chat link is, or not the chat link, but the join link is in the chat. So if I see you come in, you got a door open. I got 5 slots. Here he is. Oh, shit. Someone. My
Oops.
bad. I kicked you out by accident. Sorry about that.
No sweat, guys. I was just laughing that my son beat me to the show.
Yeah, I was like, oh, cool. He comes in without Shadow. That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's my boy.
Sons should not be their elders.
I was expecting him to stay in the after show chat for a bit longer, but I guess he just heard that I was here and rushed over.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If you thought I was going to miss the Saturday night hanging out with you guys are highly mistaken.
I made the effort today. It was a rough one for me today, but I made it.
I knew you would. Did you get a hold of Keith?
Yes, Keith popped
Okay.
in a little while. I
Cool.
sent him the link. He came in and he left. And I was like,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, I like his show. I'm gonna be a regular over there. And just for the record, howdy everybody in the show tonight.
Hello.
There's a
How's
bit
it
of
going?
Just great.
Oh.
As well as I can manage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hope everybody had a good week.
Yeah, pretty good week.
Mostly a good week.
Okay, without saying go back and watch the first hour, I'm going to just bring you up to
Say
speed
go back
real
to what?
quick, Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah. My dad died 2 weeks ago, and it's different for me. Yeah, it's different. It's been different for me because I had time to prepare, and he's still in contact with me. It's
I'm not
yes, it's
surprised.
like,
Are you
what?
surprised? I'm not surprised. Are you?
I'm surprised it was like a few days later, not a while. But then again, you know, there's a bunch of spiritual stuff at work, and I shouldn't be surprised. I am a little bit surprised, but that's okay. Yeah, he came to me a few times the same way my guides do. Inserting
Maria.
words back here. Yeah, hey Maria, I'm sorry, I don't know if I ever said hi. I think I did. Okay. Now that we're all here, let me just go through the chat. Welcome, people. Tim Freestone said when I started this, right, that are we all not just a spark of energy in this time and dimension? So once you cross, there may be a way for others that have passed this time that we are in. Yes. Yeah. Energy is energy. Communicate in communication with us. I think he ran out of characters. And then Bo Paints Minis. Bo Paints Minis is here. Lava
Hey,
Lord
Bo.
808.
Welcome to the show, buddy.
That
Oh,
would be-
and Nathan, by the way,
What?
I have an end broadcast button on my screen again. Just kidding.
Okay.
Wait, hold up. What happened? What did I? Did you gain control of the live stream one time?
I think so.
He
Yes,
made me, I
did.
think when he made me a moderator, that gives me that ability, or something like that, or something he did elsewhere. But yeah, now I've got the eyes on. I've got the end broadcast button. I've got invites and all kinds of superpowers. So best be on your best behavior, little man. And fix your hair. You've got a little bit of an Adolf look going on right now with that shadow right under your nose.
We lost.
Am I the only
Joe.
one seeing that? Am I the only one seeing that?
I saw it. I didn't want to say nothing.
Okay, look at yourself.
I see it now. Okay, I can see it now. All right. I did not notice it.
You
Please
can't
fix that
unsee it.
before we get like thoroughly beat up over it. You're channeling baby Hitler.
Go,
Things you
goes with the
cannot
suit and the hair.
unsee.
yeah.
I don't know how.
That's hysterical. I just coughed up a lung. Hey Joe, come on back, man. Don't let baby Hitler scare you off.
I think it would go the other direction with Joe, actually.
Yeah, no, it would. He's probably having technical issues.
Okay, things you can't unhear.
Yeah, be afraid. Be very afraid. But
Wow. Wow, I am so now I just wish I would have got here sooner, but Van Hammer, freaking Bo. Bo's a great guy. He came over from my show earlier. He's a regular on the show. And Nathan, one of these days we got to get you back on my show, man.
When I can, I may pop in. You're always on when I'm at work.
I know. I wouldn't change the schedule because I really like seeing you do what you're doing, and I can always go back and watch your show. But one of these days we got to get you back on because, I made you famous and stuff, and you know how it is.
Yeah.
No. I wouldn't have it any other way. It's like I say every week. It's a nice way to sort of cleanse the palate and talk about my other, I guess you could call it passion or hobbies or, things I love to talk about is all of this stuff. I juggle watching, gamer videos and paranormal videos and news all day long. And thanks, the little guy's now on vacation, so I won't be able to get away with my porn habit now that he's going to be home for like 3 weeks. So,
all right then.
Thank you,
I'm just
Sharon.
kidding. I'm just kidding, folks. I'm just kidding. If you think, no. I know, right? No. I watch too much. I watch too much news, and James L is trying to break me of that habit. And
have you talked
it's good to be back. He was on. He was in the chat tonight with my show, but I think he went to take a little, respite from, making us all crack up. And okay. Joe's waiting to come on in. Should I let him in, or you want to?
Yeah, go ahead, let him in. He just now popped up on my screen.
Wow, the power!
There he is.
He's going mad.
What's happening, Joe?
He is
not much
muted anymore.
I am not muted anymore. Thank you.
Right. Oh, and here we go with the lag, of course.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I think that's what kicked me out. I got really laggy and then I disappeared.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Everyone come. Since we're talking about show dynamics and doing things with the shows and on different shows, I have been instructed by a trusted person to say I have now a PayPal and Buy Me a Coffee link in my About tab.
Yay!
On my page. I am not
asking
asking
right now.
if you want to leave a tip. Great.
Congrats.
I can give you lots of tips.
Yeah, don't take wood nickels.
They're worth a fortune.
Instructed to tell that.
I know, that's an antique. Be careful with that one.
Yep, they're worth a fortune.
But
the antiques or the tips?
The tips of what? Never mind.
Hello. I have no idea.
Wow.
Last I heard you were talking about porn or something. I don't know.
No. I deny every second of that.
You just won't live it down. That's all.
What did Shakespeare? Shakespeare say? He doth protest too much.
Yeah.
I just told my son that. What was it? Last night? The night before?
Yes, and the worst conversation I've ever had. Thanks for reminding me.
Are we talking about the shadow under the nose now?
No. It was a totally different conversation.
No.
Oh, Frank is
It's
back. Frank is back.
Yeah, we've got a bit of echo between
Frank,
me and Jackie. Where are you situated? Oh, you're right there.
Yeah.
I'm hearing echo too. I've been hearing it.
Yeah, let me pop out and come back in. Leave the link in the chat for me, and
It's already
you
there.
know what? Actually, you know what? Send me the link to Messenger, and maybe that'll kill it.
Let me try that. Okay.
I feel you, Joe.
Everything slows down.
I'll be right back.
My joints are doing the same thing.
Yeah, Nathan, I went ahead and dropped so that they would decrease the lag on your end.
Okay.
I'm still watching, but I'm going to back out of here so you don't have the lag that you were having before.
Okay. All right, cool. Let me make sure the link. Let me send him the link real quick. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Someone else is echoing. I can still hear myself talking.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do the same.
You're okay. Well, follow the same link in. I guess I don't have a Facebook for you.
Well, there went the echo.
Yep.
No, I'm not muted
Yep.
at the
The
moment.
echo's gone.
Yeah.
Echo's still here. Frank, I think it's you.
Is it me?
But anyway. No, you're echoing too.
Huh. Well, I'll tell you what. I will copy the link, and I will jump out of here for a moment and come right back, okay?
Okay. All right, Shadow, I'm about to send you the link as soon as my computer. Okay.
I didn't mean to kick everybody out.
Okay. The new link, and there I go. What? Oh, everybody's out. Everybody literally is out. Okay. I'm bringing you back in. Timber. Okay. No echo. Good deal.
All right, we're good.
Lynn is back.
How's that?
No echo there. And let's see what happens. No echo. Good deal. We are tech back.
We're cool. We're golden.
Okay. I sent Shadow the new link, and it shows him online. He should be popping in soon. Hooray for technical difficulties. Okay.
All the positive refreshes.
You know what, Edgar? Edgar is asking, can you find out who burned down the DeSoto Hotel here in El Paso? I know somebody who can. I know a remote viewer who does this all the time, and she likes to make shows about it. You know what? I will ask. And I will. She might make a show about it. I don't know.
I think that would be an interesting topic.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I don't know enough about it. Me and Shadow are trying to study on it, but we've got all this stuff happening
Sure.
with each one of us, and we can't concentrate enough on it long enough. We both bought books and are watching all this stuff on remote viewing, and I'm sure there's just a few key things I'm missing.
Sorry about that, guys. Every time I hit the link, it was sending me to my previous show. So
Weird.
yeah, I know.
You made it back.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I use the link in the chat, and I'm not hearing the echo, so that's all that matters.
Yeah, we're good.
Good deal.
Yep.
I have no, it's not for me. If you want to try it, go for it. In El Paso, who burned down the DeSoto Hotel? And that's all the information I've got for a remote viewing question. If you want to try it, go for it. I'm not ready. And I've got a person that I can ask. So I will be asking. She might make I will leave a link. She is the Cryptid Huntress. I'll have to get her a link. She works a lot with Spaced Out Radio. And I suck because I can't remember her name right now. And she's a friend of Amy's too. Alien
you
Girl.
might be
111.
able to get her on your show one night.
I might. We've all talked in other people's chat rooms about we need to get on each other's show, and I'm like, I need to come on your show, and they're like, yeah, we'll make it happen. A year ago.
Oh, wow.
I keep getting bumped away by better guests. I mean, so what? He worked at Area 51. I got the Quantum Show.
Yeah, I'll vouch for you.
Yeah.
I found when I was hosting that I put my shows together anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks in advance. And then I went back and I made sure that my people were ready to go on and reconfirmed. And I had some show ups, but it didn't happen often. But the more proactive you are about getting a guest, the more likely you are to get them on. So we've
just don't give up.
Sorts of people.
I have watched. Oh, I'm not giving up. It's starting and concentrating on getting them to hear me consistently, and me being consistent. It's not okay. So it goes back, but I can deal with it.
Consistency is key.
On the DeSoto Hotel, I would strongly look at the restaurant staff.
Okay.
Agreed.
Is that from an investigative? Okay.
Yeah, I would say
from
so.
The investigative reports that have been published.
Okay. Oh, does anybody have a problem of themselves not being a moderator on their channel? Because I'm looking at. Okay.
Yeah, he's wiped all your powers, Nathan.
Anyway, I got mod power.
I have
got
no
kryptonite
idea
in that Ethernet.
If I have them,
because I just tried to tag Edgar. Oh, maybe it's because he left the show already. He chatted and. Is no one here from YouTube? Everybody is here. It's okay. There you are, Edgar. You just pop back in. Everybody's listening to something else, either Twitter or Facebook. That's hilarious because it's a YouTube show. Okay, Edgar, I tried to tag you. I've got a friend, and I will ask her about the DeSoto in El Paso. But yeah, okay. It's okay. I'm guessing it's lag between servers because I'm on looking at YouTube. It is me and Edgar, and there is no chat.
That's weird. I'm seeing.
Looking over here,
everything seems relatively fine on my end. Oh no. Never mind.
I just refreshed the chat. I don't care. The show is working. I can see you in StreamYard, so that's fine. Yeah, the DeSoto. Yeah, I've seen the Paranormal Files. Edgar's in the chat saying if you watch the Paranormal Files, they have a video on the DeSoto. Okay, I have. I believe I remember seeing that one. Okay. Okay. Anyway, I will
Is
ask.
there
It was one
some?
of the
Cryptid
most
Huntress.
haunted places in El Paso.
Yeah.
Okay.
And someone's trying to chalk it
Yeah,
up to that. The fire, I
I
mean.
think it's just a fun fact. Because I remember that DeSoto was one of the most haunted places. There's a ton of haunted. Everything in El Paso is haunted. Everything.
Well, it's one of the oldest cities in the United States. You know, gee whiz, this area is exceptionally old. I mean, from the Spanish conquistadors up, you know? Not to mention the Indian population that was here ahead of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, you know, it just stands to
Yeah.
reason. We see paranormal, not so much in Las Cruces, but in Old Mesilla. You'll see a lot of paranormal happenings.
Oh, just
I
go down
see
to the
'em
Las
here.
Cruces train station.
I have been there. And I actually,
I want to go.
you know perfectly well. I've said this before. I was taking my daughter to her work, and when I came back, the train station was around the corner from where we lived, and we looked at. I looked at the train station had an old steam engine in there, and everything was all old fashioned. I thought, oh, they're doing a reenactment, and I blinked, and no, they weren't. You know? I've also seen a stagecoach run through Old Mesilla. No coach there. So, you know, and it's not like I would be expecting to see it because I wouldn't. I've lived
Right.
here for 25 years. So it's been an interesting place to live.
Oh boy, El Paso really is. And oh man,
I
some of
saw
the
more
most
stuff of the
well,
alien sort of in El Paso than I did in the paranormal respect.
you know, everyone
Really?
around me saw alien
Yeah.
stuff.
I'm sorry.
I would
Say
be driving
again.
down the car. Everyone around me saw alien stuff except me. I'm talking like me and my ex were driving in the car, and she goes, "Look, look, look! I'm driving in a car on a busy street. I can't look." But she did. She saw it. I
Yeah.
was like,
We
"Great!"
went
So I
down.
pull over safely, and it.
We went down the most alien filled highway. I had Nathan with me, and there was no activity. What the hell is this? Well, finally we figured out that at that time the the government was closed, so maybe the government couldn't fly the frickin' alien ships.
I think they
You
just.
mean when
I
we
think
went
the
on a
aliens
service
just
call?
personally dislike him.
What was that, Timber?
Oh, I just think that the aliens personally dislike him.
God, that's mean.
Probably. I don't know. I've
Well,
gotten
you
it
know,
from both the
it's like
living and
that
the
old
dead.
thing.
Yeah,
It's
but
like that old thing in Beetlejuice: the dead won't see the living, or the living won't see the dead. Nathan won't see the aliens. I'm teasing you,
Too close to
Nathan.
home.
It seems to be the way. I mean, I've gotten it from the living and the dead. Aliens are not my path.
300
No, that's
miles of
okay.
alien alley, and he doesn't not want him to show up.
Yeah. Are you talking about when we went on a service call up to Clovis?
We did a whole bunch of them. Yes.
Yeah, well, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This ironic thought keeps running through my head. Just be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
might get it.
Yeah.
I saw them there before, but driving with him, I'm going, oh, we ought to see them. And going, no.
Maybe he's one of those
No.
Travis Walton guys. The aliens, just like you said, just don't want to, mess with his juju.
Well, after Frank and I had that encounter, it was like we could see them on every corner. We could see them. And ahead of that,
But didn't you just run into a bunch at the grocery store?
yeah, we did.
No, I meant Nathan.
No. That was the Comic-Con. There's 3 at the Comic-Con. One sighting at the grocery store. Well, it was a repeat sighting too. That person was a regular.
Some
But
of the
I didn't
stuff
know what
those
was
guys
going
buy.
on. Do what?
Some of the stuff that those guys buy. I mean,
Yeah.
I was struck by the inconsistency of a purchase done at 1 o'clock in the morning. It was really random stuff. I mean, I think there was a set of batteries. There was um, a package of mustard, and uh, gee, what was it? Some sort of paper goods, like napkins or something. What in the hell do you need that stuff at 2 o'clock in the morning? What is that?
No,
And I
no
looked at
fulminated
that.
mercury.
Maybe those were all the single.
I don't
Maybe
know
all those
whether
were
there
the
was
single
mercury or
aliens,
not.
because that sounds like my shopping list.
But
Shadow
not
knows
at
what I'm
2 in
talking
the
about.
morning. Not at 2 in the morning, though.
Oh, I know
You
what
know.
you're talking about. Yeah, not at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, I know what Joe's talking about too, but I'm ignoring it. Uh, but
That's probably best.
well, I know what it is, and I know more than I want to. It's
Yeah, I think we all do.
yeah.
Some cellulose, some fulminated mercury, a little fish oil.
Cut it out. No, just Joe, hush.
Yeah.
Forgot the damn time.
We'll
What are you
have that
thinking?
on another topic.
Are you sure you want to go down that rabbit hole?
I need to
No.
I need to rename that show the Black Ops show. Quantum Show, the Black Ops. That first time. Lynn, you weren't here. Weird stuff happened when we started talking about the good old days, right? I started having clicking and buzzing and stuff on my phone line.
Oh yeah, they're
And,
listening. They want to hear what you have to say.
Shadow had a helicopter fly over him,
Mm-hmm.
and Joe is under
Oh,
constant
wow.
surveillance anyway.
Yeah,
So-
and I understand that because you remember the topics of our show. We had a black SUV that did not belong in our neighborhood, and you know what Vulcan Avenue was like, Nathan. It didn't belong in that neighborhood, and if we were running a show, that sucker was sitting there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. We sent him
You,
a
you,
pizza. And he was real upset by that.
But yeah, I need to go back and rename that the Black Ops because everybody showed up. Those first few shows, the topics all showed up.
Well, they wanted to know how much you really knew.
Yeah, well,
Apparently,
there was
they've
more.
decided that you do, and they don't want any part of this crazy crowd.
Yeah, they're
no,
sending
no,
me
we're just
to. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, we're just gonna uh, teach the new guys stuff that they haven't been authorized to know yet.
Uh huh.
Yeah, they'll learn something coming around here.
Boy, that's no lie. And that's just in common vernacular, huh?
Yeah,
That,
like let's go K Mountain in New Mexico.
yeah.
Yeah, before. Yeah, in the first hour, I was talking about uh, the real world that the Muggles all see, and the other aspects of it. The Joe, I'll say it again, right? You were here for this. Uh, the Council of Magical Arts. You mentioned it a few shows ago, and I said, by the way, everybody, that's a real thing, and it really is. It's not a
Yeah.
boys' club. It's not like they get together and play cards and drink beer. It's not that, right?
No.
They
They do
make things
drink.
happen. Well, they
They drink
drink,
a
but that's not
lot,
the.
from what I gathered.
I've never
And
been.
clothes are optional.
Yeah, clothes are optional.
I've never been to one. Oh, and also
Except you
everyone,
follow Texas state law.
it's a private property, and um, well, I don't know because I've never been to one of the meetings.
Your invitation got lost in the mail, buddy.
Yeah, my owl didn't make it down the fireplace.
We were planning to go, 4 years ago, and suddenly this thing hits, and I thinking, that's an awful lot of trouble to go to keep us from going to a meeting, you know.
Wow.
Well, well,
Yeah,
yeah.
seriously.
Apparently, it. I believe you. I totally believe it because it's like, mm,
No, everything just
y'all are
seemed
the
to
powerhouse.
conspire against us.
Well, y'all are the powerhouses, and I imagine, in the Council of Villainy or whatever it is from Venture
Bench
Brothers.
Brothers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I imagine them.
The Guild of Calamitous Intent.
Guild. I'm a bad fan. Guild of Calamitous Intent. I imagine them like that. They're all attending the meetings through these big screens, and all it shows is a silhouette of each one, and each one of them seems to like take a turn yelling to the others, silence.
I could get
And
that on Jeff Dunbar's stuff.
Jeff
I
Dunbar,
hear you.
but yeah, that's how I imagine they meet up, but I know it's not like that. It's just in my mind's eye.
I don't think it's anything like that myself.
No, it probably isn't.
Joe would know.
I think that's some of that eyes only information that he's not supposed to admit to knowing, so I'm not going to pursue it.
Know what? No, and that's okay. One of the reasons things like this are kept in somewhat secrecy is the fact that certain ne'er-do-wells in this country have a
In this chat? What?
ne'er-do-wells.
No, I said in this chat.
No, in this country.
No, in the country.
That would happily tear up a religious meeting like that one. and it is religious. So
Just
Okay. Go ahead.
yes, Joe?
Google Council Magical Arts, Texas. No. Just Google Council Magical Arts, Texas. No trouble finding them.
Oh, in the old days, you had a meeting at your local grove of trees, and you could expect all sorts of bad things to happen if the wrong person found out.
Right.
Hey, did anybody catch the Y files this week?
I'm not familiar.
Really?
I don't watch
What was-
television.
It's not on television. It's the YouTube channel.
I missed it then. I don't know what
What
it
was
is.
it on?
It was on the Grand Canyon. I'm just gonna say that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know whether I saw the Y files, but I know I've seen ones about the Grand Canyon, about finding Egyptian artifacts,
Yeah,
things like
yeah.
that there.
So, what is your take on that?
Well, I've heard about it, off and on throughout the years. But I lately, I really like the show a lot. But some part of me tells me that it's like controlled opposition. And I know Joe watches it from time to time. Have you ever got that impression?
I don't know. He stays far off the metaphysical end, but he touches enough on it that anybody who's interested should be able to follow from there on.
Mm-hmm. No, just it's just a weird feeling I've been getting.
As to the truth of the thing or the falsehood? What
Well,
sort of-
that's just it. With controlled opposition, you get both. You'll get someone who will give you enough truth, but in there's also, some flat out, BS, just to throw you off the scent, or to keep you from looking any further.
Yeah, like obstinance.
Right. No, just like, they're working for the bad guys, but they're so good at it, they have to give you some truth, but then they'll debunk it or say, yeah, you don't need to look any further because I did the looking for you.
That's almost a guarantee of me going and snooping around.
Right. Well, I'd already done the snooping on everything every topic, but just lately, because I really like the show and I want to keep liking the show, but I just keep getting this weird. Maybe it's just being a skeptic or an untrusting
Very, very
fart that.
pessimistic.
There is nothing wrong with a good, healthy skepticism. It'll keep
Right.
you out of trouble.
That is true.
It's when you have a feeling of there is something not being told the entirety of, and they know that entirety, but they're withholding it. That's what bugs me.
Yeah, like when he covered Phil Schneider a while ago, at first he's all like, acting like he believes it, but then spouting a bunch of typical information you'd expect the bad guys to tell you about the guy in question.
Yeah, and this is a common ploy. Especially among journalists, they will lull their interview into a feeling of security, and then tear them up, and with ultimate deception. Whereas if a person knew up front that they were a skeptic, they would come fully armed, and they don't always.
Hmm. Well, Phil Schneider's been dead a long time, but he was talking about, all the stuff that we all know about him. And then he starts talking about, that he was crazy and delusional and stuff like that at the end. Like those were the facts. And everything he was saying at the end was what you'd expect to hear from, the people who want to keep that stuff under wraps.
Exactly. And when somebody approaches journalism that way, they already have they've made a decision in their own mind of how the thing is, what's real, and then play it up, and then turn around, and all the way through is Lid Moon does this, that, and the other thing, and those things are so. And then at the end, she's dark raving mad, so don't listen to her. We've already done the research. You know, that's that kind of journalism. I won't listen to that.
I mean, you probably shouldn't be listening to most journalism nowadays.
There's been too many dumps that have been already photographed, to totally just what he's had to say. I mean, there's too much photographic evidence.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe he's getting, bad sources himself. Because I mean, he's very enthusiastic about, all the topics we talk about, but every once in a while, he comes up with what you'd expect to be the party lines.
Well, maybe he's forced to. Maybe that is a sponsorship issue. It quite often is.
Who are y'all talking about?
The Y-Files.
Oh, okay. Still Y-Files. Okay.
And we're also talking about dumbs. We're also talking about one at White Sands.
And Phil Schneider.
And I'm just talking in generalities, whether it's this subject or 10 others. You see this sort of journalism pretty consistently these days, where, they come up with one thought and then turn around and say something else entirely, and that's not what the subject said or meant. So, it's hard to know what is appropriate to an article, say, just written text, or even a verbal one, how much editorializing has been done in it. That's my beef with it anyway.
And Shadow caught the Candy Mountain.
I caught what, Joe?
You knew what I was talking about.
Actually, you're breaking up, so I can't hear what you're saying.
Talking about. I don't know. I said, you knew what I was saying about Candy Mountain.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Yeah.
That's the reason why you went to Phil Snyder.
Yep. Yep. I've been following that guy's story for decades, and when I heard what they said on that show, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what the bad guys would say.
Joe, you are echoing, and now you're starting to lag out. You want to go out and come back in so we maybe reset the connection?
That sounds like a plan.
Okay. I will go ahead and remove from stream. Okay. I think he's going to go totally back out. Yeah. And he'll be back in a little bit. Yeah, that echo was getting louder, and then he started lagging.
Yeah, he was getting that weird robot sound as well on my end.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
whining out on mine.
I thought it was my connection. It's not. It's my connection when it's other people's shows.
I wasn't sure.
Um,
It can be distracting enough that that you forget what you're trying to say.
Yeah, you can't follow a thought. You can't
Yeah,
follow your
well-
own thought.
Yeah, it's echoing back. in
Well,
my
some of us already have that problem, but that's
Yeah, me too.
It's biological, not electronic.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lynn, when you were saying about they would say one thing on the news and then they would spin it a certain way,
Yeah.
the word obfuscation.
Yeah.
I posted it.
Oh,
and I
I
just-
love knowing the word, but I won't remember it in 2 minutes. I swear to you, I won't. It is it's a learning problem for me to learn a very long word that I don't have a clear understanding of.
I got you. I understand. I do. I get it. Okay. I might be lagging.
So, hey.
too.
Hey, Jackie, did you want to talk about that thing tonight?
But hold up, what thing?
The thing you were talking about.
Was I talking?
I don't know what it is. You never said what it was, but you said you wanted to come on Nathan's show and talk about something.
I think I already did, didn't I?
I don't know. Just checking.
As far as I can remember, nothing new has happened.
Oh, okay.
And the only thing I can think of was something that I specifically said that I don't really wish to talk about, and most likely not live if I ever decide to do so at all.
Oh, okay. Kids all full of secrets these days.
Wow. There's some.
Well, yeah, but that's because I know you.
You feel the love tonight?
Oh, I've got a son too, and
Yeah.
he's very like this also. You know, it's when he decides he's not talking, he's not gonna, and that's it. Oh,
Yeah, I think he's had enough of talking with me this week.
I've heard enough of you for a lifetime.
oh
Just
my!
this week. Like, just this
Okay.
week. Actually, not even just this week, just last night.
We had
No.
like, what, about a 4-hour conversation that didn't go well?
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say it didn't go well. It just, we covered every single topic and at the same time danced around everything important.
Well, did you learn from it? Was it productive? Then it's a win. I would say that's a win.
I
You
don't
have
know.
you have the groundwork down now. Now you can talk
Yeah,
about the tough
yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understand, and I'll have these conversations with my own son. My son is actually going to be 40 next year, and we'll dance around just like you say. We hit all the topics and nothing of value to either one of us, but that groundwork was laid down, and he'll come back to me maybe a week so later. So you know that conversation we had? I do. Says, I'm ready to finish it now. No, it's on.
Oh, shit.
You know, though, that those sorts of conversations are the ones that, while they may not be comfortable, it may not be things you want to talk about, are the ones you absolutely need to.
Yeah.
No, it's too easy to say no. We won't talk about that tough stuff. Um, if they can't talk to us as their parents, who are they going to talk to? Who's going to give them appropriate information, at least from our own point of view, that
Mhm.
can make a difference in their lives and in their structure, you know. And it take what you can use and leave the rest, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Totally.
won't always be here, unfortunately, and I'm just, trying to share my limited wisdom, if that's what you want to call it. You know, I didn't make it this far in life, just on good looks and luck.
Yeah, exactly. Uh,
Okay, maybe a little luck.
you know, when I had my son, I was 27, and I really thank God that it was that much later than say the early 20s, like women tend to have children now. And
Hmm.
my take on things is very different now than it was 40 years ago. The things that I held absolutely, these things shall not be shook. And now I'm 66, I'm realizing, hey, wait a minute, some of that maybe isn't quite so true. Maybe I need to look at those hard, fast values again and make sure that they're they're correct. If not for everybody, at least for me. You know, and I'm doing that an awful lot right now. But every 20 years or so, and really every 7, your whole body, your whole mind changes.
Yep.
It renews, it becomes a new thing. And we're at a place, where we're willing to embrace other concepts. And talking to someone who's maybe not at their 7-year mark yet and getting ready to enter their 7-year mark, that might influence their pattern for what they're about to go into next.
Yeah, it's funny
Adventures.
you mentioned that, because the little guy is, 14, so he's at his second go around, as it
Uh-huh.
were.
Exactly. He's getting set to reinvent. And it does happen that way. Who you are at 14 is going to be drastically different than who you are at 21 or 66. You know, it's just going to be
Yep.
amazing, the differences. And that can be experiences, it can be all sorts of things. But that that whole body change happens every 7 years, whether you want it to or not. And when you go through that, you have to reevaluate everything, because now, is my thought processes correct? Is that who I am now? And that's important, whether you're 14 or 40 or 70. you
Yeah,
know
and if you knew, my son a little bit better, you'd
Thank
be
you.
his, you'd take this as actual, I mean, concrete evidence. I think, um, Jackie knows what I'm talking about. What he's gone through in this last year has been more profound than the previous 6. Wouldn't you say?
Certainly, yeah.
I mean, it's just amazing just to see the change, especially if you were to like go to our channel and watch our very first video and then watch our last video. You wouldn't, you'd almost not recognize the kid.
yeah, a whole different
Well,
person.
because he's not a kid anymore. I mean, he's he's grown up to be a stellar young man, and he has just as many adult friends that are, 4 times his age as he does friends that are his age.
And that's important. That's so important to have a wide variety of people that uh,
Care about you?
care about you, but also you have interaction with, because then there's a wider experience. There's going to be those who don't understand what you're going through. And if that's only people that are around you, that can be very lonely. So,
Grim
it's
is in the chat. Sorry, y'all. Grim is in the
hello,
chat.
Grim.
Hi, Grim to stay.
Hey, buddy.
Hello.
So, how old are you, Timber,
Um,
if you don't mind?
14.
You're 14. Okay.
I'm at the point of the year where I round up, but
No, that's fine.
to
That's
15.
What do you
fine.
mean? You round up, even 14 for months.
Yeah, no, round up to 15.
Oh, okay.
He's
I
at the
just didn't do
50
it this
cent
time,
mark.
to be honest.
He still wants to be older than he is. Where most of us are trying to take off a few years here and there.
Oh, God. Have you seen our channel? I mean, seriously, I'm painting a toy dinosaur right now.
That's wonderful. I like to paint as well. I'm rather good at it. I've had to kind of scale back some of my art stuff because I've had some eye problems recently, but
That's the worst. That is when you're artistic. That is the worst. I mean, other than going deaf as a musician, I can't think of anything worse.
it's frustrating. It's very frustrating. And like we've been talking about, reinventing yourself. Who am I now? What can I do? And there are artistic things that I'm perfectly capable of doing. I just cannot do I used to take a one hair brush and paint tiny, tiny figures. And I think you've seen them, haven't you, Nathan? The small stuff that I paint. Or
Like 1 mil scale, or
Yes.
yeah. And
Wow.
that's
Yeah,
not happening
I've seen
these
it.
days.
The stuff is amazing.
because the little guy and I we focus mostly on 28 millimeter Dungeons and Dragons kind of thing, 15 millimeter. But
No,
I can't even imagine painting freaking 1 mil. I've done 6 mil, but 1 mil, that's just
The smallest one was about the size of my pinky fingernail,
That would be
and
5 mil
yeah,
or 6 mil.
yeah, really tiny, and paint the eyes on
oh
the
geez.
thing.
I don't even paint eyes on 28 mils.
My mother enjoyed ceramics. And when I first came to New Mexico, I had a lot of trouble finding a job because I only spoke English. And I had trouble finding a job. And I found a job with a man who had fantasy figurines that were ceramic. And I knew something about that. And I started painting with his crew. And he took a figure that he would sell at wholesale for around $20, and he would sell it for $25. And I started painting, and he'd tell me exactly how to do it, and I threw that out the window and did as I damn well got ready to. And he went from getting $20 wholesale to $100 wholesale. And it was largely in part that I was willing to do the detail work and do the shading and the things that turned that thing into a lifelike creature, which was dragons and that sort of thing.
I used to do some ceramics too back in the day before I started miniatures, because back in the 70s that was like kind of like really popular.
Yeah, that was
The
the
whole
thing to do then. Yes.
we had this place across the street called Funky Junk, and
Oh
that's all
yeah.
they sold was ceramics. And my mom was into it. I got into it, and then like a year or two later, I got into army men and miniatures and
Right.
fantasy, for gaming and war gaming and trains and Dungeons and Dragons and all that. And I have never looked back.
Well, about let me think, around 12 or 13 years ago, my friend owned a shop here called Make Believe, and she had resin figures. They're highly detailed, but all in
3D
glass.
printed,
Pardon me?
3D printed.
Yeah. Well, not 3Ds, but they were resin,
Uh-huh.
and they were good sized pieces like you have there.
Hmm.
And she had a broken one, and she says, "Oh, I may as well trash this. I can't make a sale on it." I said, "Give it to me." Well, I went to the Japanese form of make a break in something beautiful. Okay, then by doing that, you put some gold in the actual break and turn it into a feature, so to speak.
Right.
And this was a
That's
small
cool.
box that had dragons on it, and I just put on the Ritz. Okay, I made that
Gotcha.
thing about as gaudy and trashy as I possibly could have, and
Awesome.
she sold the damn thing for $100. And they
That's
had,
epic.
I brought it in, and she had two women see it, and she she said, she went to put the price on it, and the lady said, I want that. I'll give you $50 for it. And the other one says 55, and they bartered her up, I like an auction. By the time they were all done, she got $100 out of it. I said, "Well, what do you think, Rosemary?" She says, "You're hired." And I worked for her well, not worked, but did painting for her for, I don't consider painting work.
No.
No, it was just fun and games for me, but made, worked for her for, my God, I still do pieces for her back and forth when I can see, but she had a collection of angels that were just in base white. She couldn't get rid of them. The one that wasn't happening. They were about an inch square, and I painted those, and she purchased them for $5, I think, and we got it up to 25. Just a little teeny angel. So, a lot of it has to do with loving your work. You got to love it, or you're not going to do well with it.
Yep. Yep. And funny thing is my son here, he's probably a better painter than I am with a lot of techniques.
See,
And
patient.
he's only been doing it, what, 2 years, bud? Two and a
but I
half?
haven't been doing it as much recently.
Yeah, well, you need to get back to it.
I used to paint a lot. Like I actually did used to paint a lot, but rarely at all anymore.
I
Like to make a
had a
comment.
problem with it too. Yes.
Yeah. I'm just really busy with a lot of stuff right now.
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment.
Go ahead.
I'd like to make a comment to paints minis. You complain about 20-year-olds in your martial arts. Actor is Jennifer Hahn. I'm 70 years old. Keep at it.
That's actually what I said, Joe. Never give up.
No, you're gonna hate me for this, but I was in martial arts for a very long time and taught it for a number of years. And you got to stay after it. I've had to let it go myself, but um, I have found that when you train core deep, where it's absolutely in your pores, it is there years later. I think Joe would tell you the same thing. I'm not sure if Joe is still with us or not.
He is. He was muted. Go ahead.
No, I'm here.
You know what I mean, Joe?
Yeah. No, you didn't know me when I had the Mazda. With three gentlemen decided that needed the Mazda more than me. I didn't come out of that too good, but they didn't take the Mazda either.
They got carted off and you walked, right?
Yep. No, I drove. I got back in the Mazda.
Yeah, there you go. I always figure that if I have to be in a physical altercation, I already know I'm going to get hurt. The big thing here, though, is I know I'm going to be hurt, and I know what being hurt feels like. Whoever is coming after me may not know how bad that can hurt. I have something of an edge on this too, since I don't look like someone who knows darn well what they're up to. So, but
yeah,
we
and
were
when I
talking
stand up
about
from the
this the
vehicle,
other
I keep
day.
standing.
Yeah, and Frank and I were talking about this situation not long ago, and I think might have been yesterday or the day before. He had listened to another podcast that included a whole bunch of people that had been assailants of one type or another. Whether they'd been purse snatchers or they had beat someone up or some other thing. And they went through this lineup of people that were, who would you likely attack? And they showed different pictures. And there was one person that they showed, and this person looked at that picture and said, no way would I bother them. And why? What is it that tips you off? Why not? It's self-confidence, they're organized, and they know what they're about. Then they're vigilant. And that, if the average person was that most of the time, people would leave them alone. If you don't have your nose buried in your phone, you have your phone put up and you are walking with purpose and observance. That in itself would get the job done. You're not going to be bothered. So there's all these people out there. They're looking at a phone and not realizing that, hey, they're vulnerable. And we
might as well have a victim sign.
Yeah.
Might as well be carrying a victim sign.
Yeah, exactly. And I have to use a conveyance when I'm in a grocery store. I cannot walk this anymore. And I'll have people that are I Frank and I had someone stalking us one night when we were at Walmart, and we knew he was stalking us because we're vigilant, hyper vigilant in places, I think. But we knew he was stalking us, and we knew that he was after my handbag. Well, first thing I did was move my handbag and close it up, and I put it between my feet. That put it out of reach. But he wasn't going to be dissuaded. Finally, Frank turned around. I looked at Frank. I said, "You can deal with it, or I can." And of the two of us, I'm the one that you should probably be afraid of, not Frank. And Frank turned around and says, "If you don't have business with us, I would appreciate it if you go away from us." "Oh, I don't want any trouble." "No, but you found him." you know. He took off, and I went and found a security person and told him that they had a perch snatcher, because that's what he was. And the guy's like, cute little old lady, yeah, sure. I'm like, I used to teach martial arts. I know what I'm looking at, okay? And he's like, oh, oh, uh-oh, you know. but these are things that I didn't start out knowing this stuff. Nobody does. You have to learn them. They're worth learning. They're worth learning well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think I gotta probably leave now because it's getting late over here, and I am very, very tired.
Yeah, we did have a long day. He was a trooper today.
All right.
All we did was put up some Christmas decorations. Don't act like it was a lot.
Oh yeah, it was me that was chopping the firewood today.
And the bosses sent the little boss in here.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy. Okay.
Oh no!
I know what that
Okay.
means.
I don't know.
Tell Maria I said, hey.
All right. Well, bye.
Okay. Yeah,
Sure.
same.
Good night,
All right.
sport. I'll come down and see you in a bit.
later.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye.
Take care, everybody.
Bye. Bye. Yeah.
See you later, Shadow.
Have a good weekend, buddy.
See you.
Bye,
Talk to you
Nathan.
soon, Joe.
Bye, Frank. Bye, other person. All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Yeah, I've been going for over 2 hours now on this stream, which is fine. That's fine. Sorry to turn my camera off. Am I on? Yeah. I turned my
you're
camera
on.
off for
You're
a
good.
minute. I had to reorient the camera. I figured out a way to be able to watch the show, even if it's delayed, and have the camera pointing at me at the same time. So that works. What I've been doing up to now is I've had a screw box on my on my tripod and hanging the camera off of it. Now I've got my phone on a cell connection and not using the phone camera. I'm using a PC camera attached hanging on my phone so I can see a screen. So when I'm looking over here, my eyes aren't wandering as much. Anyway,
I've got a camera that has the audio attached to it. And if you think you're echoing now, if I had that darn thing on, it would sound like you were in a tunnel and everything was going, hey, hey, hey.
yeah.
No, I don't want to do that to you.
Yeah, that's what something happened. I got that speaker watch. Yeah, it's a dumb human thing, but it echoes bad. And it not only echoes, it sounds like you're talking inside of a box and echoing. So, not going to use it.
Yeah, it's just, if that gets going too much, you're just kind of caught in this loop, you know.
Yeah.
What are you going to use that for, Nathan?
Oh, I do use it. I'm just not going to use it here, or not for
No,
phone
but what?
calls.
But what for? Oh, just phone calls.
No, not phone calls. Listening to
No.
stuff while I'm driving, because the battery life is phenomenal, like 12 hours long, and it's better than the speaker that I keep with me. And if I have to run out of the car for whatever reason, I just hit stop or or whatever and go. And it's got a radio all of its own, so that's cool.
Yeah,
And
Grim to say is asking for if you've had a ghost items of late, Nathan.
okay, me, no. I do have a small haunted TV update. That's not haunted. Okay, Grim, let me update. Yeah, it's still not haunted. It's fake. It's a hack. But things have been quiet around here, right? Up here, things have been pretty quiet. Okay, all the time when I'm laying down at night, I hear somebody playing with the toys in the room. That's every night. But that's nothing new. That's been going on since I got here. Yeah. Thanks, Lynn. I wasn't looking at the chat. Chat's over
No,
here.
it's cool.
You guys are over here.
I happened to see it, and uh, thank you to Maria for her kind comments there. I agree with her. Females should, but males should as well take take time to learn basic self defense
Mm-hmm.
and
I agree.
practice it and practice, because without practice you won't remember. It's
Well,
you're in the middle of something bad's going on, the brain freezes, and if the body doesn't know what to do next, the brain can't tell it. You know,
yeah.
it doesn't know.
Well, Grim, all I can say, oh, did we? Oh, Shadow's just gone mute. Okay. Um, Grim,
I'm changing
every
position.
night. Okay. Every night, something is playing. I thought it was critters. It is not critters, things moving around, moving, disturbing things. It's not every. It is every night. Something comes in here and starts playing with stuff. And but every day I still have a public access, what you call it, cemetery behind my house. It is state park, so it's been declared protected and historical. So anybody gets to go there at any time. I haven't had many people come around in the middle of the night. Only crazy people like me have gone there.
I
um,
don't know. If you, I, if it seems to me that a cemetery would be the absolute last place that a ghost would want to hang out in.
I
They
would
usually
agree.
go back to their home or to their loved one, whatever they're attracted most to. Maybe it's their work even, you
Right.
know. But that doesn't make sense to me that they would hang in a cemetery.
I don't know, but uh, did you hear the story of when I took my friend back there? She wanted to go visit
Uh
at
huh.
3 o'clock in the morning.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't hear that story? Okay.
Oh no, I'd love to hear it.
This was a doozy. This is one of those things that happened that said, oh, yep, life is very different now. The world is nothing like you know. My buddy, Adana, she worked at this gas station that's kind of close. And she knew about the cemetery behind my house, knew everything I said, state park, you can go there anytime. Um, well, we went there. It was 3 a.m. It was a clear night, perfectly crystal clear night, bright
Just
moon, clear sky. It was very bright to be out in the middle of the
just
woods. So,
decided to take a walk, or
yeah,
yeah,
that's
okay.
what we thought we were going to do, right?
It went worse than that, though. I bet.
Oh boy. Okay, we get out there, and the scariest thing is don't fall. You're in the middle of the woods, and if you bust your head open, that's going to be a really bad thing. That's the scariest thing, is tripping.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a front half and a back half. The front half is the nicely kept up half, and the back half, not so much. They just discovered that there are slaves buried in there in the back half, and among everyone, right?
Huh.
So yeah, and okay, I know you
So it's
know,
a
but back in the
really
day,
old, a really, really old cemetery.
yeah, This is Revolutionary War era.
Oh my.
Um,
That'd be fascinating to see.
oh, yeah, all of it's haunted, but they had just a couple of years ago they found, using what you call side scan sonar, they had found that there were other bodies buried, and I think they looked into one and found out that it was a slave. And then they started looking harder. And the reason that's a big deal is because back then that was illegal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was illegal. The same cemetery, that was illegal, strictly. That was a big deal. And everything being run by these churches, it was a
So
really big deal.
they were
Um,
stacking them, or what was
no, they
happening?
were just in the same cemetery as white people.
Oh yeah, that wasn't done at that time, and
It
certainly not in that area.
Yeah, it was very illegal. Um, and
But it was
okay,
also
well,
consecrated ground, and it. I think it was very important to people at that time from a religious standpoint,
yeah,
regardless of their economic station.
right,
That when they passed, they were buried in consecrated ground, so
right,
that there wasn't nefarious rituals performed. And well, grave robbing was quite prevailing at that time too. Especially
oh yeah,
during the not just not so much the Revolutionary War, but after the Civil War,
right.
there
Oh,
was
it's
a
always
lot of
been a
that.
yeah, it's always been a thing. But okay, we were walking through, everything was fine. I didn't even have a flashlight out because I could see fine, right?
Yeah.
And then we get to the back half, and all of a sudden, I have this. Now, there's nothing scary out there. I have this fight or flight take hold of me. And I'm like standing there all of a sudden in a panic. And I don't know why. And I go, Adana, do you feel that? She's witchy pagan too, right?
Okay. Sure.
She is. She very is. And uh, she says something, but it doesn't come out as words. It comes out as scrambled words. I hear like she's talking. That's what something like that, right?
Uh huh.
I'm not, and then I notice things are getting darker and blurry, and
Oh,
that
you were
has,
surrounded.
yeah, and it was really like a wall of blackness on one side, but everything got dark and
Right.
everything got blurry. That's what tripped me out. I was like,
Yeah.
something's up, but it rung
Something,
a bell.
something evil this way came, huh?
Yeah, something, but it
Yeah.
rung a bell. The fuzziness and the darkness. The darkness, lots of darkness. I've been through all kinds of darkness. The fuzziness, the blurriness, that rung a bell. I'll
Like
get back to that.
seeing through a gauzy curtain.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it had happened to me before. I'll get back to that part. Right. Okay. And after she said that, she kept walking towards the back, and she disappeared. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't hear anything. The ground is covered with leaves.
Oh
Um,
boy,
I couldn't
that
hear.
wasn't good.
She was gone, and I was there, standing there in the blurry, dark night, and I see movement out of the right side of my face, out of here, Logic mind said the wind is blowing a leaf or something. I look over, it's not a leaf. I look over, there's a figure standing there, but this is how it looked. Do you know the movie The Predator?
Yeah.
You know when he turned on his cloak?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it looked like, human shaped.
Oh
Okay.
boy.
And he was walking. And then I see, and I'm watching it. Okay. I'm watching it do this. It's walking. It's on the far side. I'm on like near the other border. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And it's on the other border. And I'm watching it like walk like this. There's two more. They don't rise or anything. They just are there. And I see them and they're all walking that way. They're walking like
Zombies almost. Or
not
or
quite.
or
Walking with a
shackled.
purpose. Walking with a
Ah.
purpose. And then I see a
Okay.
fourth one right here. And I take a step back and this thing stops right in front of me. I'm looking through it, the blurry outline right here. And I hear put. I know you already know what I mean. I'll explain in a second. I hear you finger in my face and everything. You stay right here. I actually understood it. And I go, and it goes that way. And all of them are disappeared into that black mass. And I'm standing there by myself in the dark, blurry. And I'm like, what? And I'm looking around. I'm listening. I'm trying to see. I see nothing. I hear nothing. And the thought occurs to me, if Adana disappears, I'm going down for murder. So I click into search and rescue.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to do that. So I reach in my pocket to get my flashlight and I hear crunch. And Adana just appears as if she walked out of a portal or something, right?
I think that's very, very possible.
And then later, I remembered where I had experienced all of this at different points in time. The dark blurriness was one of the circles that Joe had led. We were between worlds.
Yeah.
Okay. She fully, me almost there. She fully went between worlds. Grim, I don't know if you understand what this stuff means, right? And I'm not looking in the chat. I'm looking at the camera and the chat's over here. But between worlds is something done in ritual and pagan circles all the time. When you raise the energies,
but you raise a protective circle,
right? And it's done
malevolent out
with a method and intention. This was being done by something else.
And, too, when you're part of that community, or even if you're a solitary practitioner, your guide is there to protect you from things that do not belong in this realm.
Right.
And that's one of their functions.
Well,
and I think that may very well have been what you experienced was
that came up.
Guides.
That came up. Wait for it. I got some clarification on this later, right?
Okay.
And she was
taken left too soon.
She was okay. And I hear the crunch, and then boom, she just reappears, and I go, Adana, we need to go, or it's time to go. And she goes, yeah. And we kind of both now. I'm the fear is gone. It's light again. The blurriness is gone. And I can't say if it happened immediately because, well, it was already dark to begin with. And we walked out and something, she was carrying like a charm necklace that she had put together,
Uh-huh.
and something broke it. There's
Uh,
nothing you get hung on out there. And something broke it, and they all fell. And she asked me to come over, and we picked up what we could. She couldn't find all of it, but I guess they
well,
whoever
it broke her protection. It was that strong.
yeah.
And,
And
her personal protection's probably why she came out of it at all.
there's more. Okay. Now I kept saying stuff rung a bell. Those guys walking through, the
Uh-huh.
dude in my face rung
Uh-huh.
a bell. They were military. I get choked up every time I think about this shit.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I know it's true. You know that? When you had something amazing and profound hit you between the eyes, you never get over it.
Mm-mm. They were Minutemen.
They were
They
protected.
were the rescue party.
Yeah. Yeah,
And I
I
don't want to
agree.
think about the bad stuff they were fighting back. And another thing that I remembered was the clarification that I got later was that fight or flight that I was feeling.
Yeah.
That was my spirit guide keeping me from doing something stupid, which is
Yeah.
what she's really proficient at. This is for you, Xena.
Yeah.
And
I understand what you were talking about very clearly. It When I'm told a story like this, I try to get there in my head. Okay, see it like you saw it. I'm good at that. But
right.
the I'm interested in your friend's impression of it.
Well, she took her time. She couldn't think of anything for 2 weeks. She couldn't put it into words. I thought she was hiding it. No, she was doing the young kind of arrogant thing of, well, I don't know something, so I'm going to pretend like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah.
uh, and
Hmm.
she blew me off and kept changing the subject for 2 weeks until I said, Donna, what happened back there? You disappeared. She said that uh, she was so focused on what she was doing, which was just looking around. Um, Something that she didn't notice if she could see me or not. She couldn't hear me talking. She didn't see any other figures or anything, but she did notice her feet were being sunk into the ground as if they were being pulled. That's what she
Mhm.
said, and that there was a hat back there.
Uh-huh.
She couldn't really describe the hat because I don't know if she could see it very well or not. But yeah, something damaged her protection. And yeah, Grim, that's what she told me. She said there was a lot of anger. Yes, there
Yeah,
were
somebody was
slaves back
very
there.
angry they were in the ground and wanted to take it out on somebody else.
Yeah, and here I was. And then, okay, I got to live here, right? So
Oh yeah.
I knew I pissed those guys off. So the next time I had a chance, in a week's time, I thought to myself the whole week, I was like, what can I do to make up for this? I got to live here. What can I do? Well, this is nothing new. What have people usually done to appease the dead? Offerings. What do I offer them? Food offerings are always good. Well,
Food,
what kind?
alcohol.
I know. I didn't
Uh,
thought about that later. Other people said that later, and I was thinking, well, they're country people. I'm country people. What would be good?
Homemade
Biscuits and
bread.
gravy.
Yeah, yeah.
Biscuits and gravy. And even
Right.
though
I keep forgetting you're in Tennessee, but yeah, that'd be perfect.
yeah. So
That would
what
be
I
the food of the gods for them.
what I did, I went over to that. early that morning, I went up to Waffle House and I said, "Give me 6 orders of biscuits and gravy. One a big plate here and a big plate here. 6 orders." And they did, and I did a little speech and in the front and the back saying I want us to all get along. I'm sorry about that last week cuz okay, when I got down there to do the offering, it felt like I had eyes on me going, "Oh, great. This guy." And like he's coming back to make more trouble.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and I went in sheepishly like I'm like well, I'm just here for a minute. Hold on, y'all. And I did a little, I don't know what you would call it, a speech,
Yeah.
you know,
Just,
a
I'm
presentation.
sorry, guys. Here's a reparations for what I've done.
Right. I brought you breakfast. I'll come back in a few hours to pick up the dirty dishes, and I got you forks and everything. So here you go, biscuits and gravy. Sorry.
So
y'all.
I gotta ask you this question. When you went back, was there anything left?
There was. I went back about 4 hours later, and I was like, okay, I know this worked, because when I left, after setting it down, when I left, the feeling was totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Look, I'm
made
reliving this stuff,
friends.
man.
You did.
Yeah.
The feeling of the place when you went back was, "Hey, buddy, what you got? You got anything else for us, huh?"
I have not been back
great.
there since then. I have been over to the fence, and that's it. I got a fence and then another fence.
So
One fence and then
this back cemetery, these plots, they've only recently been discovered again. So they were probably feeling violated in the first place.
yeah, and then
Is that
we
about
went in.
right?
Yeah, me and Adana went in. Now, Xena put the fear of God into me, so I was like frozen. But she had another plan, and Xena said, "I don't know what the hell she was doing, but that was her." And she's like, "She's not on my dance card here, so not my problem."
Yeah, and it's not my person to look after. And
Right. So
where the
she
heck
had
is her? Where's her guide? And why have they fallen down on the job?
right. She couldn't perceive mine. I can't perceive hers. I guess that's just the way of the galaxy, way of the universe, right there.
Right. Well, you know that when these things happen, it's very much like you say, between worlds.
Yeah.
I've had a few of that kind of thing, not that specifically, but the stepping from one side of the curtain to the other, and that is always a profound thing. Absolutely profound when it happens, because
Yeah. There's
you
a
feel like
feeling.
nobody's going to believe this, you know.
Yeah, I don't expect anyone to believe me. So I just am like,
I do.
screw it. Y'all can come down my rabbit hole if you want to or not.
The Grim is asking, was how far is that graveyard from your house?
It's about 500 feet down the hill.
Yeah, it's pretty damn close.
It is right here. I will take a picture tomorrow, and I will show you from my kitchen.
When I was, yeah.
Go ahead.
When I was a girl, there was I lived in farm community in Ohio, and down from my house there was a family graveyard, grave plot, and it had been desecrated. It was lively, that one. I'm just a young kid. I'm about Timber's age at that time, 14, 15 years old.
Oh, his name's Jack.
Is Zach?
Jack. Jack.
Jack. Okay, I have a Jack at my house too, except he goes by John. And anyhow, yeah, you're getting leg cramps, huh? Anyhow, this cemetery, tiny, but it had been monkeyed with. You know, somebody had done drugs there, and there was stuff going on in that little tiny place that should never ever have happened. And I went home. I told my mom that I found a cemetery plot, and she goes, "Well, there's no cemeteries through here." I said, "There is there." I said, "What's more, it's been messed with." She goes, "Oh, shucks." And she and her club went to that cemetery, cleaned it up, and set it right, you know, and got it on the registry. But it was absolutely angry. That area, not just because of my personal outrage that somebody had done this to holy ground, but that the feeling around it was very lively. There was a farmer who had the ground and was plowing it. He'd come past there and invariably would break an axle or something on his tractor or on his machinery. You know, because he was coming too close to their spot, I think. And once that was all reconsecrated and uh, fenced off and that and treated properly, never happened to him again. He had no problems with plowing that ground. So I totally believe that the cemeteries should be left alone, because if you don't, you're playing with stuff you don't know what that is.
Yep.
Then you
Yep.
get others who think that it's cute and clever to go on to a cemetery and try to call the dead, or have rituals for power, you know, which are also not moral.
Mm-mm.
So that can also anger them.
Yeah, that's necromancy, and that's bad.
Oh boy, is it.
I mean, that's like one. Okay, everybody, if no one heard my show on necromancy, necromancy is one of those things you do not fuckle with. Okay, not at all.
Oh, you're smart.
Because yeah, it will. That's one of them dark mark leaving things that you got it, and it takes. Oh, I want to say it takes penance, but it takes more than that to get rid of it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that most people who dabble with it, they got it for life. The wound is there for life.
Yeah, and it
And
can be exploited for life too.
yeah, it becomes
And by the other side, you know.
yeah,
The others,
by the
everybody
other
likes
side.
to, you know, the white fluff and light crowd always feels that everything is hunky and dory on the other side. It isn't necessarily.
Mm-mm,
And
mm-mm.
you know, you start playing that game, you leave yourself open to things that were never human in the first place.
Yeah, and
And yeah, it's nasty. But like you say, the karma involved in that could take lifetimes to erase, if it ever does. If it ever
right,
does. I don't know whether it does or not.
Yeah, you're not gonna. There's nothing to be gained. It's just really.
right. I mean,
For,
any
for a parlor trick, or for an evening's entertainment, are you mad? Are you crazy? You know,
Well, you hit the nail on the head. That's you know. I think I think it's easier to attribute stupidity most of the time, but If they're not careful, it turns into more than
Well, even
they can
even
handle.
yeah, even those whose religion actually involves some of the well, we'll say the Voodoo crowd, and I know very little about them.
Hmm.
You know, even they have their protections, they have their ritual, they have their spells to protect them from doing things or from experiencing other energies, so
Hmm.
they're not taken over, they're not destroyed. You don't have any of that when you start playing those games.
No, and something I do know about them, and I've been told and read several places, is that that group, those groups, they realize it's always a trade. If you want something, you give something. If
Right.
you don't give something when you take something, something will be taken from you.
Right. It's negotiated very carefully within that religion. Very
Yeah,
carefully. Even among the
between
Bokors.
right the practitioner and whoever they're dealing with on the other side, they
Now,
realize that there's a give and take.
right.
There's no
And
question.
yeah, there is no such thing as a free ride. I knew of a lady uh, here. I knew her. Okay, it's not of her. I knew her, and she was playing games with this sort of thing. And I warned her, this will not take you where you want to go. It will not give you power. It will eat you alive. Didn't believe me.
Hmm.
I don't know if she's still alive. Is that I had
Yeah.
to dissociate myself from her completely. It
Hmm.
For even to be associated with her at that point was to leave myself open to what she was playing with, and I didn't want any part of it.
Hmm.
And I'm an experienced uh, Wiccan, Sumerian tribes, as a matter of fact.
I can now say I'm experienced. Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah,
I've
to an
been doing it for
extent. Yeah,
20 something years. I
and that yeah,
better
at
have
20
known
years
something.
you can say you have experience. You know,
Yeah, I
I have
better, or
some
I'm just
experience at
poser.
it, but I know darn well what not to mess with.
Yeah.
If I don't know anything else in life, I know what not to play with. You know?
Hmm.
Well, you're better armed than most.
Well, it's funny. What's the first thing that somebody asks you when they discover that you're into the pagan life? Oh, can you do a love spell for me? I love
Yeah,
that
all
one.
that stuff.
A
I'm like,
love
go to Five
spell.
Below.
Yeah, really. Yeah, just yeah, Fiverr will get the job done for you.
Oh, jeez, Five
And
Below.
yeah,
Oh my
seriously.
God.
I and the last thing that anyone wants to do in our religion is to control someone else. And that's what a love spell is. You're trying to control. And if you want true love, you are not going to be able to control any of it.
Mm-mm.
You know, just stay clear
Yeah,
away from it.
yeah. There's
They
plenty of.
yeah, no, there's just too much of it. We just when you start playing that game, you destroy yourself.
Yeah, the
You just
cost
that's what you do.
is so high.
Yeah, it's like you were just saying. There's a give and take. What am I
Yeah,
willing to give for this? Well,
th-
with a love spell, you haven't. It's like Maria just pointed out. You can't create love, only obsession. You know,
absolutely.
that's the end result of it. And that's not love, and I'll tell you what, you get tired of that, and that obsession becomes what? Stalking.
Hmm.
Uh at some point could actually become murder, given the
So
right
totally.
circumstances. What have you done? What have you created? A real mess. Stay away from it. If Maria's right, just absolutely let it alone and go your merry way.
Yeah.
Uh,
And to attract someone, I have found that it's not about telling them to like me. It's about me telling me to like me and being
yes,
happy with myself, because people see that. That's the happiness. That's the fun, the joy. They want a piece of that. And
yes.
that's attractiveness. That's attractive, you
No,
know?
that's a very
Well,
good point. You want to attract love? It's very simple. Get happy. Get
well,
through with your life.
you know what? That's part of it. Because I've told this to Nathan before. If you're trying to, find, somebody, to add to your life, you kind of hit the nail almost square on the head. But what you got to do is because Murphy's out there. Those of
Oh
you who don't
yeah.
know, Murphy's law rules the universe. Like every other day. So what you got to do is you got to, like you said, be happy. But you got to be happy that you're single, so that Murphy can then put that person into your life and blow your plans out of the water.
It's
So the
very
happier
true.
you are, the happier you are being single, the more likely you'll find someone to mess all that up for you.
Well, to an I don't know. I don't know. I
Every time I told myself, I'm going to stay single for a while. I'm going to focus on me, do what I want, blah, 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 get my, my act together, my stuff, my ducks in a row.
there's some woman
Boom.
there to mess it up for you. Eh?
You betcha. You betcha.
Well, but isn't aren't you just describing that though? I'm going to get focused and happy on myself.
Right, 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 right.
I'm going to do for me and make me happy.
Yeah,
And
you got
when
to
you
out
do
Murphy
that,
Murphy. That's all.
got out Murphy. When you do that though, people look at, boy, see that guy, he's happy. What's up with that? Maybe they
Mhm.
watch you a while and
Yep.
then they realize, hey, wait a minute, he's single. Maybe I need to take a closer look. And then, of course, they're there to mess up your life, naturally. But, but then again, I don't know. I've had some very good love relationships in my life.
Well, it might work differently for guys. I don't know.
I have a
From
unique
personal experience,
situation.
though, from personal experience, every single time I said, I'm going to focus on me, going to do what I want, enjoy my life. Last thing I want is that, you get tied down. Whoosh, here comes the lasso.
Here comes that woman with that ball and chain, huh? Uh, you
No,
know,
I didn't say ball and chain. I just said lasso.
she's got a ball and chain. You trust me on that. But
So,
all laughter aside, uh,
secret side, huh?
I came down to New Mexico. I had no intention whatsoever of letting another person into my life. Period. And it wasn't a horrible breakup. It was bad enough. And
Mhm.
doggone that damn Frank Fudge came wandering into my life and said, "Ah, come on, you'll love it." And I have. I've
Is that true, Frank? Is that true?
I think he's on mute.
Yeah,
Oh, I
he's
know.
listening.
He
I was
did
just
you
hoping.
hear
Yeah,
that, Frank? He's going to answer you, but he's been he's having a snack. Uh,
yeah. I had to do the same thing. I had a long day, and I did a show before this one. Before my show, I was juggling Keith's show and another show that I'm on, trying to be in the chat.
uh-huh.
So and before that, I was chopping wood and decorating a Christmas tree, which entailed putting together a Christmas tree, which entailed getting all the Christmas decorations down from the attic.
Not to mention
And
finding all
before
the
that,
that.
I went grocery shopping. And mind you, any one of those tasks would have normally wiped me out in one day, I'd be like, all right, I did something today. I'm going to go take a nap. No,
Yeah, no,
no, no,
I'm with you
no,
on that.
no, 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 no. Just be careful, Nathan. When you hit 55, suddenly you're an old bastard.
Hey, I'm
I keep trying to,
66.
yeah, I keep trying to keep up on the vitamins and water, and I think my undoing will be coffee. I think that's going to be my undoing, my kryptonite right there.
That's what's kept me going.
I'm telling you guys, I quit coffee. January 1st will be like the start of my 7th year, and it's been one of the healthiest decisions I've ever made. Because what people don't realize is coffee's kind of like a drug. It what does it do? It puts you into like overdrive. You're running at top speed even though your body don't want to. It's not really natural for us to do that. You know what I mean? If you think about it as a kid, from like 0 to Jack's age, you're not consuming that particular product, and then suddenly you start, and sure, it makes you feel great, but and mind you, I'm not like comparing it to cocaine or anything like that, but it is something that you know does kind of put you into like 1.5 speed, or
Yeah,
and then you
right.
throw the sugar or anything. I mind you, if all you did was just drink like black coffee, maybe, but then we had sugar and cream and a bunch of other stuff, and yeah, all I drink now is water. No juice, no soda, no milk, nothing but water. And I'm telling you, once you get over the 2 weeks of like headaches, if that's how long you have to suffer through it, you won't be able to go back to drinking anything else.
Well, I agree with you in part. I've drank coffee since I was 4 years old. I did that because of my ADHD, and for me to
Same.
think in a straight line, um, actually, coffee slows me down. Otherwise, I'm Buzzy the hummingbird. If you think I'm bad now, I'm
Yeah,
far
well,
worse
our friend
without it.
our friend Connell's the same way. He can't drink it because it just puts him to sleep.
Yeah, it doesn't put me down. It allows me to think slower. And otherwise, like I said, I'm Buzzy the hummingbird. And I gave up sugar about 4 years ago. I I very rarely will have something that has sugar in it. And I did that because I was coming into to diabetes. I had to
Yeah,
do it.
that's what I
Mm.
was doing, Maria. Was half coffee, half chocolate. I
Yeah.
was drinking I was drinking a blender full of homemade mocha fraps. Oh my god, it was heavenly. But after a couple of years, it really started taking its toll on my insides.
No, I
So
couldn't do it. I drink black coffee and I have 2 cups a day, whether I need them or not. But the sugar does a job to us in a big
mhm.
way. I read where sugar actually is uh, quitting sugar is about the same threshold of difficulty as quitting cocaine or heroin.
I've
That
heard that.
is profound.
No, those are easy. Quitting cigarettes, that's the hard one.
Oh yeah, I know that it
Sorry, I had
is.
to joke. I
I
had to joke.
actually have never smoked,
Drugs are bad.
but never smoked. Never smoked a cigarette. Well, I, I will put a caveat on that. I worked in an office in a mental health facility, and everyone in that office smoked. And we had an administrator who thought it'd be clever to put somebody in there that didn't, so she could make everybody in that office quit. Because if one person didn't smoke, nobody could. And I walked in, and these people looked like it was, the last day of life for them. And I said, "What's going on here? Is it always so grim?" And she goes, "Oh," and she told me what the administrator was doing. I said, "Hand me a cigarette. I just started." And I would light a cigarette, put it in the ashtray, and I never smoked the darn thing. Never did. And but the administrator couldn't make them stop.
Right.
And I'm like,
That's some selfless service right there.
I don't know that
Hero in my book.
actually it was self-preservation. I did not want to be the guest of honor at the next pie party.
I totally get it. I totally get it. Still, that's a interesting way to earn the gratitude of everybody you work with on a minute-to-minute basis.
Oh, I never treated it like that. I just, as long as she was the administrator, I smoked.
Not all
The
heroes wear
minute
capes.
the minute she quit, I said, "Oh, thank God that's over," and handed the cigarettes to my friend and said, "Here, have them." She goes, "You've never smoked one." I said, "I put it in the ashtray." She goes, "You cheated." I said, "Ma, really? Oh, take my union card. I quit." I never wanted that to. I've never been a big one for anything to rule over me, whether it was that addiction or 100 others. And even coffee doesn't rule. I have 2 cups, and I don't always have two. So it's just it's something I do for me. I am self-disciplined in that way. It is it's not done for anyone else. You cannot quit for someone else. You have got to do it for you.
Yeah.
You whatever habit it is that you start, whether it's by exercising or going to the gym 3 or 4 times a week and all of that stuff. We you have to do it for you, because if you don't do it for you, there's no point to it. I think we lost Shadow. I think he went to sleep. He can't take
Oh,
it.
Oh no,
no,
he's
no.
here.
Oh, I'm totally here. No, I was just listening.
Oh no, you had a big day. You have.
Yeah, no, I just listening. To be honest, when I overdo it, I get a bit of a headache, and I took a couple aspirin. And I was just contemplating, do I take another couple aspirin? I mean, mind you, it was about 6 hours ago, and it went away, and then it slowly started creeping back.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, it
well.
was 6 hours ago. Your aspirin's no longer working. Those are good
Yeah.
for 4.
Yeah, and they're generic and they're old, so
Yeah.
they're probably
No,
good
they're
about
4 hours tops.
Yeah. I don't even normally take pain meds anymore. I used to, but I yeah, my vitamin, my apple cider, and that's it.
Okay, y'all. It's been 3 hours on the second hour. So
Yeah.
it's been good. Thanks, Lynn.
I really
and Frank,
enjoyed
for
it.
coming in.
Thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, I wish I could have come
Always.
on sooner, but my game buddies were enjoying the show, and it's funny because one of our friends who was in the show, he's back in the hospital, and he fell asleep for pretty much the whole show, and yeah, he's a great guy, and I was he woke up right after we ended the show. We were doing like the little after party thing, so it's like, oh, we got to hang out with him for just a little bit,
I got you. Oh yeah, no problem. I mean, this is what is it? I don't know. It's quantum.
Freeform.
It yeah, it's gonna be here whether anybody comes in or not. I'll be doing it. But yeah, thanks
Thanks, Jim.
everybody.
That's really kind of you to say that.
Yeah. What?
We appreciate you inviting us, and uh, I've had a good time talking. It's always something that I know something about. I don't
Right.
necessarily know everything, but I know something.
Well, when we start knowing everything, it's
Yeah.
time to just go to whatever next level there is, because
Well,
we're done.
reevaluate because you certainly don't.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Because we don't know. We don't know.
Nathan.
And people are talking in the chat. Grim is talking in the chat. And you have things to do yet, Nathan. Yeah, I know. Another time. Another show. We're at the end of this one. So yeah,
You
Yeah,
have
there's
stay away
huh?
from that. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not going to go to
stay-
that. That's a big topic, and I would like to go over all the times I should have died but didn't, and all the seemingly mortal things that happened, and yet here I am.
yeah.
Later,
Yep.
another show.
Nathan,
Yep.
We
before
might
we
do
go,
that.
before we go,
Well,
I need to tell you a couple of things. I lost my grandfather back in '87. I lost my aunt in '78. My aunt and my grandfather have continued to make their love for me known all throughout my life. I've seen them, smelled my grandfather's cigarettes, heard uh, my aunt's leather jacket rustling in the wind.
And so have I, and I never met either of them.
that's weird.
Your loved ones are going to be with you forever.
Well, he tapped at the door on Vulcan Avenue, and I looked up, and he waved at me. And I told Frank, I said, "There's someone at the door for you." And Frank went to the door, and there was no one there. And he asked me what did he look like, and I described his grandfather. I've never seen his grandfather. You know, I've also seen his aunt, and I've never met her either. So it's he shared that one.
Yeah.
And back when I was in college, another person that I was involved with at the time was sitting in a restaurant one day. She looks over my shoulder and starts describing the woman that she was seeing, and it was my aunt.
They're with him quite often.
I had never mentioned had never mentioned my aunt to her, and she described her in that fringed leather coat that she loved to wear.
Hmm.
So
Well, she had actually passed in it too, hadn't she?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I talked to his mom about it, and she explained, you know, that she had passed away and she was wearing that coat. So that was, you know, like, wow, what confirmation do you want?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
they
So.
never leave us. They are, you know, especially if they're deeply involved with us. They don't leave.
Right.
My mom
Well,
my mom comes through every now and again. And she's been gone since 1985. So, you know, they don't leave.
right. I don't think anyone leaves. I think they just change, like energy change form. They're still them, just in a different form.
Right.
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 That's how I think of things. That's why I
Well,
think, say,
Energy is never destroyed. Never.
Right. And our consciousness keeps that energy coherent somehow. It's just a different form. It's coherent. To put it in science facts that I this much understand, it's coherent energy. We're coherent energy right now.
By definition.
Obviously.
Mhm. Well,
Go
at least
ahead.
some
What?
of us are. You know?
No. By definition, everyone is coherent energy because all matter.
I think she was.
is
I think she was making a coherent joke.
What?
I was teasing and not he was
She's
taking
making a. Yeah, she's making a coherent joke, not a. Yeah.
Not a matter is
Right,
Yeah,
is
she,
right.
she was trying to make a real genius joke, and it didn't quite fall. It didn't quite fall the way it needed to be.
Yeah, well, I caught it. I caught it. I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm the one falling asleep, right?
I think I'm just punchy. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just
it's
wanted to let
late.
you know, Nathan, that you're
Yeah.
even though they aren't physically here anymore, the energy is still here,
yeah.
and they'll be there when you need them.
Yeah. And you know
And
what else? None
what's
of them will tell me about them aliens. It's like a rule. And I'm like,
It is.
none of them.
that ain't,
None of
they ain't
them.
right. They ain't right doing
Yeah,
that.
none of them. None of them will say a word
Killing me,
except
man. You're
don't
killing
do
me.
it.
I'm gonna
No,
let you
yeah,
go. Have a lovely evening. Have a joyful Yule. Okay.
thank you.
You
You guys
too.
get some sleep, okay?
Oh, hey, real quick. We're doing this Saturday, right? Christmas Eve, or
What?
you gonna
Good.
be
Is that
on?
Christmas Eve?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are you gonna be on?
on Christmas Eve? Oh, it is Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Maybe. I don't know. I might do a solo because I know everybody's got stuff to do. But if you'll be here, Shadow, I'll be here. And I might just skip the solo if it's a special day. So
Yeah. I probably will. I'm not sure if I'm doing my regular show. Excuse me, but I'll keep in touch throughout the week if anything changes or whatever.
okay, yeah, I was gonna say we can talk about it throughout the week because yeah, I definitely want to do a thing next week. Yeah, we need to talk about it. um okay, Grim is asking what are we doing on Christmas Eve? We
Yeah.
don't know. But let me tell you, it's gonna be quantum, that's for sure.
Yep.
Because
All right. I'm
okay,
gonna
anyway.
leave. We'll see you soon.
Take
Have a
care.
Lynn, thank
I'll
you,
talk
Frank.
to you guys again.
You're welcome.
Bye bye.
Y'all have
We'll
a
talk to
good
y'all later.
rest of talk to you later. Thanks for coming
Alrighty.
in. And
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing Christmas Eve. Depends on whether we have our house guests that are coming sometime this
Yeah.
week, and if they do in fact show up, I'll definitely be online. Just saying.
oh, if they do show up,
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you.
Jackie won't though, because it's his best friend who moved away, and they're coming back to visit, and they'll be staying here with us for a week or 10 days, and I won't be getting in the way of that. He wants to hang out with his best friend, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'll just live stream all night, just me if I have to.
Okay.
I mean, I'll have to do some sneaky Santa stuff when they go to sleep, so this will help keep me awake, until they go to sleep, which will be like after midnight. So
Right. Understood.
it'll be just fine. Don't worry, Graham. I just, a couple of teenagers. Last thing they want is their old man, hanging out with them They're gonna play video games or whatever, and I'll have to stay up until after they go to sleep so I can do my sneaky Santa stuff. You know how that goes. Filling Christmas stockings and putting presents under the tree and stuff like that.
Okay. All right. I am going to go ahead and wrap it up, y'all. Everybody, thanks for coming to the Quantum Show. Everybody in the chat
Absolutely.
who has come in and talked with us, thank you. I'll do the YouTube thing. Hit like and subscribe. Check my links after the show. Everything that has been mentioned will be in the show description. Links to other shows. And I have been instructed by a fellow YouTuber. My PayPal and Buy Me a Coffee will be in the show description. There, I said it.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy Yule. Keep it quantum.